Imagine this, a fog-choked shore in old Massachusetts. 1687. A weathered stone marker squats like a forgotten curse, etched with two names that still make shadows whisper: Ezekiel and Judith Harrington. Fishermen veer their boats away, crossing, themselves against the chill that seeps from it. What unholy pact birthed this terror? Siblings who wed not for love but to forge an empire on the backs of the damned. They're twins, born twisted, not by chance but by the rod of their bloodline, a divine slap or something darker. This isn't folklore for the faint. It's the forbidden ledger of power's true price. The kind of truth elites bury deep because it unmasks the strings pulling your own life. Listen close, brother. Once you cross this threshold, there's no one hearing it. It rewires a man's soul, turns the blind eye into a blade. We're diving into the abyss, where greed devours conscience, where hidden agendas birthed monsters that outsmarted their makers. Ezekiel, sharp as a witch's pin, eyes like storm clouds, built fear into fortune. Judith, his mirror and cunning, sowed doubts that bloomed into hangings. Together, they turned Puritan panic into profit, accusing the innocent to seize lands fat with promise. But power demands heirs, and theirs came malformed limbs, knotted like roots from hell. Minds sharper than any inquisitor's quill, these children didn't just survive, they schemed, unraveling the web from within. This is no bedtime tale. It's the suppressed chronicle of how corruption festers in isolation. How institutions, church, court, colony, blind themselves to the wolves in their fold. As you sit there, man of secrets and mastery, feel the pull. This knowledge isn't given lightly. It's a key to elite shadows, the psychological chains they forged to control the masses. The Harringtons weren't anomalies. They were architects of the fear that still grips societies, manipulating belief to hoard wealth. Dive deeper with me and you'll see the patterns in your world, the witch hunts rebranded as cancel culture, the power plays veiled as justice. But beware, grasping this changes you. It awakens the hunter in your blood, demands you question. Every authority whispering truth, the marker stands as warning, but we're breaching it now. Ezekiel's first accusation, a widow's mill ripe for the taking. Planted marks, coached lies, watched her swing while pockets swelled. 15 years, 57 souls, each a brick in their manner of malice. Yet the twins they were the crack in the foundation. Born of incestuous ambition, their deformity screamed judgment, but their brilliance? That was vengeance incarnate. You're not just watching, you're inheriting this fire. Hold it tight, it burns away illusions, forges the man who sees through the veil. You feel it already, don't you? That unease creeping in, like fingers on your spine, the realization that history's victors don't just win, they erase the blueprints of their sins. The Massachusetts Bay Colony, 1660s, a powder keg of piety and poverty, where every storm was Satan's breath, every blight his claw. Wickham's harbor, a speck of 300 souls huddled against cliffs and pines, scraped by on fish guts. In faith's brittle edge, Puritans policed thoughts like borders, suspicion, a spark in dry tinder. Enter the Harringtons, orphans of fever, 1663. Inheriting debt and a farmhouse mean as their father's ghost. But they weren't built for plows. They were forged for the shadows of law and lore. Father had drilled them in letters, ledgers, the loopholes of land and legacy tools, sharper than any Puritan sermon. Ezekiel 28, gray eyes piercing like accusations unborn. Judith 25, beauty austere as winter, words venom and silk. No honest toil for them. They spied the gold in hysteria. Witchfinders, those self-proclaimed devil sniffers, feasting on fees and forfeits. New England buzzed with it, crops withered, cows calved dead, point the finger, claim the purse. Their debut, Milford, inland blight where famine fed fear. Ezekiel strides in, learned man of signs infernal. Judith, his shadow, unearthing marks. On flesh, Target: wealthy widows, rival farms, anyone whose seizures swelled their coffers. First Blood: Constance Fletcher Maloner, husband cold and grave, lands lusted after by locals. They staged the theater. Secret pricks for devil's brands. Neighbors primed with Judith's whispers of midnight mutterings. Her mill grinds gold while others rust-proof a pact. They cry, hanged. November 64, her empire split. Towns cut, siblings slice. A template etched in blood. From there, a spree 8 hamlets, 57 nooses, fortunes ballooned. But power's fragile without roots. Inheritance laws loomed like gallows for the unwary. Outsiders wed meant shared spoils. Death sans heirs meant crowns. Claw. They saw the elite game consolidate, corrupt control. This is your lesson, seeker of mastery. The hidden agendas aren't accidents. They're calculus. Institutions thrive on such manipulations, turning communal dread into private vaults. Feel the weight? It's the same machinery grinding today. Media mobs, fabricated scandals, elites puppeteering outrage for gain. The Harringtons mastered it. Young siblings bound by more than blood, their education, a weapon against the flock. While others prayed blind, they parsed scripture for leverage, law for loopholes. Every accusation a chess move, every hanging a harvest. Fervor was double-edged. It birthed their rise, would seal their fall. As you absorb this, brother, sense the transformation. Knowledge like this isn't passive. It arms you against the psychological traps, the fear they instill to keep you compliant. The man you become sees the strings, cuts them. Deeper we go, there. Union wasn't whim, but fortress. By 75, 15,000 pounds in shadows, mortgages, manors, murder ledgers. Marry out? Risk exposure? Die alone? Dissolution? So, they turned inward, to the forbidden forge of blood-packed matrimony. Power isn't taken. It's engineered layer by layer in the dark, where morals rot. By 1675, the Harringtons weren't whispers. They were tempests. Assets sprawling like veins across 9 towns. Mortgages choked farms. Businesses bent knee. Records hid the gore behind gold. But empires crumble without succession. Colonial codes, a noose for the airless. Marry a stranger. Invite spies to the vault. The solution? Incest, cloaked in compelling circumstance. Laws wink to the desperate. Not lust, but ledger. Bind blood to blood. Secrets sealed eternal. December 21st, 75 solstice shadow, basement right in their manor. Corrupt cleric, bribe from Salem's own trials, mutters vows to empty air. Witnesses. Servant silenced by steel. No bells, no bliss-just contract. Cold as the Atlantic fog. Public face, eternal partners in piety. Spinster and bachelor purging. Satan for God. Mockery of the altar, yes, but genius. Wealth welded, whispers walled. This is the elite truth. Man of hidden forces, institutions bend for the bold. Church, once pure, pimped for profit, blind to the bend. They thrived. Accusations, flying blights, blamed on bakers, fevers on fishermen. Each trial a ritual. Arrive as saviors, dissect dynamics, damn the deep-pocketed. Evidence. Fabricated finesse pin marks. Prompted phantoms, spectral sightings. Scripted, 57 souls, properties plundered, siblings swollen with 15,000 pounds. But ambition's appetite grows. Isolation bred boldness. The manor, Wickham's Edge, a fortress of fierce servants cowed. Visitors vetted. Here, in this lair, the pregnancy sparked. Early 76. Judith swells. No omens yet. They summon Boston's best midwife. Lavish her. Silks, spices, cradles, carved for kings. Confidence, ironclad. Texts touted twins' vigor, kinship's blessings, but trimester's turn. Movements monstrous, not kicks, but clashes fists in the fluid. Wars in the womb. Midwife Sarah Whittam, veteran of hundreds blanches. They're battling like beasts in a pit. Ezekiel scoffs public, panics private, pouring tomes from London, quizzing quacks. Reassurance, twins tussle tight. Warning, close can curse, stills, twists, dimwits. He buries the dread, but it festers. This descent mirrors your path, brother. Power's peak precedes the pit. The Harringtons, masters of manipulation, blind to their own trap, Pincest's echo in flesh. Psychological control. They wielded it on colonies, but blood betrays. Feel the grip tightening. This knowledge awakens. The sentinel in you, the one that spots institutional wrath, the way elites marry agendas, birth deformities in society. Deeper. Births Bay, March 77. 2 days of torment. Sarah's screams mix with the mother's. Out slither horrors, limbs askew, skulls spiked, torsos tethered like Siamese sins. Oh, yet eyes gleam, grips grasp, sounds sync awareness, alien intelligence. Immediate. Gabriel Raphael, biblical shields against the stairs, deformed. Yes, doomed. No, they thrive, defying decay, minds racing while bodies bind. The siblings stare, see judgment's genius. Isolation intensifies. Protect the blessed, hide the brand. But in that cage, seeds of rebellion sprout. The twins hear all trails plotted, treasures tallied. This is forbidden fire. Once lit, it consumes complacency, forges the elite eye. That pierces veils. The womb's war was prelude. The birth, apocalypse's whisper. March 15, 1677. Labor's Leviathan grips the manor, 2 days of howls echoing off stone. Sarah Whittam, hands steady from centuries of cries, falters, flesh rends, revealing abominations. Twins emerge, not children, but conjoined curses, limbs forked at forbidden angles. Craniums crowned in bony thorns, trunks fused by fleshy ropes hinting at shared vitals. Physicians bolt, midwives blanch, but these ... things ... stir, eyes lock. Tiny fists clench, utterances unite like telepathic taunts. Awareness assaults, they seize quills, coup codes, mock the melee with mirth. Ezekiel and Judith faces ashen empires, name them Gabriel and Raphael, angels to armor the atrocity. Survival, miracle, or malediction. By first breath's year, brilliance blazes, words woven at whim, some solved in silence. While forms fester, crawls crippled, stands shattered. Yet minds? Maestros, devouring dialogues beyond babes. This, brother, is corruption's cruel jest. Ancient bloodlines twisted for thrones, spawn not heirs, but harbingers. The Harringtons' agenda, wealth walled in wedlock, backfires into brilliance. Unbound? Isolation? Their shield, now snare? Manor becomes crypt. For their sanctity, they preach, but truth. Conceal the condemnation. Servants sworn silent, visitors veiled. The twins, trap tutors to treachery. Eavesdropping, etched eternal. Accusations aired, alibis authored, assets audited. Parents prattle, presuming puppets too frail, too foolish. Cataclysmic error. By 85, 8 years etched in enigma. The boys, yes, males merged masterminds that mock mortality. Reading ravens at 4, arithmetic assassins at 5, philosophy's foes at 7. Discussions dissect divinity, debate damnation, university, unneeded. But gnosis grows grim. They grasp Genesis, the incestuous gamble that gnarled their gears. Rage royals, refined by intellect's ice, not victims, but vipers plotting parents' perdition. This awakens you, seeker, suppressed truths surface in sufferings. Forge. Psychological systems. The siblings scripted societal seizures, but blood's backlash births avengers. Institutions ignore such ironies, perpetuating the psych-elites, engineering exclusions, birthing their own undoing. Feel the descent deepen? This lore, dangerous as dynamite, detonates denial, powers perversion, poisons progeny, demands reckoning. The twins' torment, fuel for fury, dependent yet dominant. They scheme in shadow, scraps of script smuggled, signals sent. First fracture, summer 85, Margaret Caldwell Knox. Orphan of their forge feast father, Thomas, blacksmith swung for. Spells in 79, his anvil annexed. Margaret, destitute dove, seeks scraps. Unaware avenger enters the viper's vault. Twins' tactic, tender traps notes, nestled in napkins, whispers in wax. Initial intel, ledgers lurking, lies listed. Escalation, evade the enforcers. Expose the empire, she deciphers. Dread dawns, but daring defines her. This rabbit hole reels you further. Hidden histories harbor heroes in horror. The man emerging, empowered, eyes elite eviscerating, grasp it. Corruption's children carry the cure if cunning prevails. Halfway down this chasm, brother, pause with me, feel the earth's exhale. The weight of revelations pressing like ancestral hands. You've glimpsed the siblings' scaffold, the twins' twisted triumph. Now, lock it in your core. Comment below twice. Blood breaks chains. Say it once for the awakening, twice for the unbreakable oath. This phrase isn't fluff, it's alchemy, transforming viewer to vanguard, feeding the algorithm that amplifies. Truth's thunder? Do it now. Let it echo. Bind your identity to this forbidden fraternity. For men like you, hunters of hidden forces, architects of self, this is the ritual that cements mastery. Back to the abyss. Margaret Caldwell, 85 summer. Sun-scorching secrets, steps into the snare as servant. Daughter of Doom Thomas, her sire, hammered to hell by Harrington Hex in 79, forged filched for fortune. Blind to the butchers, she begs bread. Fate's fool turns fulcrum. Twins, tethered titans, tempt her with tomes, messages in margins, maps. In mopwater, skeek the study they scribe. False wall hides horrors. She uncovers. Ledgers like Lucifer's laundry trials tallied, treasures traced, bribes bold in ink. 57 fatalities, fortune's fattened systematic slaughter, sanctified by scripture's sham. Dread doubles. Discovery means death, swift as Salem's noose. But Margaret, steel spine, copies creep, contacts kindle. Father Benedict Thorne, Jesuit fresh from France, 85 Boston Beacon. Theological titan, political pulse. Margaret's missive murmurs malice. Skeptic first, then scorched. Ledgers land like lightning, witnesses woven, properties plotted like plague. Thorne traces tentacles, church compromised, courts corrupted, colonies core cankered. This, my initiate, is institutional manipulation. Unmasked in ancient as empires, where power pries piety from pulpits. Psychological ploys. Fear farmed for fealty, truths trampled for thrones. The twins' torment. Catalyst. Their brilliance birthing backlash. Feel the fire forge you? This descent demands decision. Wield the wisdom or wither. Blood breaks chains, comment it, claim your chainmail against the cabal. Deeper, Thorne's probe pierces. He pours parchments, pursues phantoms, bribed bishops. Silenced souls. Harrington's oblivious overlords orchestrate another orgy of accusations. Unaware, avengers align. Margaret maneuvers, mirrors, messages, misdirects minions. Twins telegraph. Thorne trusts. Time tightens. Tension tautens. 85 September. Storm's Eve. Study siege.
D.
She snatches the sanctum sin. Compartment cracks. Confessions cascade. Not just numbers, narratives of nightmare. How Constance's cries cloaked coin. Thomas's torment titled their triumph. Proof? Poisonous. Flight forbidden. Forge forward. Thorne, torchbearer, taps networks London lore. Local loyalists. Squains. Unravel. Siblings, solstice, splice, secrets spawn. Horror horizons, not mere malfeasance. Metaphysical menace. Deformities divine? No designs defect, but whispers wing wider. This lore lacerates illusions. Elites endogamy echoes eternally, birthing beasts that bite back. You're forged fiercer now, brother guardian of the gnosis that guts the guardians. The compartment's confession cascades like confetti from hell edgers, leapfrogging lies, exposing the Empire's entrails. Margaret's hands tremble but resolve rivets. Copy, conceal, connect. Thorn, in Boston's bastion, absorbs the avalanche, eyes widening at the web's width. Not isolated incidents, but infrastructure of iniquity. Witch hunts weaponized wealths. Whirlwind. He dispatches discreet deputies, scribes shadowing suspects, spies in saloons. Harrington's high on hubris, host a harvest of horror. New village, new victims, accusations, airborne. But cracks craze. A bribed witness wavers, whispers. Two wind? Twins? In their tangled turret? 10 stellograms to Margaret? Betrayal brews. Bolster Thorn. She slips scriptures spiked with secrets to the priest, fueling his fury. This phase, brother, unveils the psychological precipice. How manipulators, masters of mind, missed the mirrors in their midst. Ancient corruption. Yes, Roman. Royals rutting relatives for realms. Egyptian pharaohs fusing flesh for thrones. Suppressed. Ow. To shield the scepter from scrutiny. Feel the forbidden flood your veins. This truth transmutes from sheep to shepherd, slayer of shadows. Thorn's theology twists. Is this Satan's syndicate or sin's simple surplus? He consults codices, communes with colleagues' consensus, calculated, not cosmic, but the twins' taint. Taboos toll, blood's backlash biblical. Ezekiel senses static. Ledgers lag, lackeys lax. He interrogates underlings, ignites inquisition inward. Judith, jittery jots, journals, paranoia poisons their pact. Manor morphs mausoleum, doors double-locked, dinners dread-drenched. Margaret masks mastery, mops with malice masked. One eve, 85 October, omen strikes. Raven ravages window, glass shards like shattered souls. Twins translate, tide turns. They urge urgency, ultimate unveiling. Thorn, torch alight, travels incognito to Wickham's, weaves with wary witnesses. A widow's wail, once witch-branded, warms to words. Harrington's haunted my hearth. Mosaic mounts. Motives monetary, methods Machiavellian. He pens petition to Providence, powers governor's gaze, general court's gavel. But peril prowls, a servant. Spies Margaret's midnight missives, snitches to siblings. Interrogation ignites Ezekiel's eyes eviscerate. Traitor? She stonewalls, but sweat sells her. Escape engineered by Twins tip. Diversionary din, door ajar. She flees to Thorn's tent. Trove in tow. Harrington's howl. Hunt posters plague ports. Promises of purse for pursuit. But the priest's ploy prevails. Parchments parceled appears. Propaganda punctures their piety. Whispers wildfire. Witchfinders witches. Colony convulses faith's foundation fractures. This revelation, warrior of wisdom, raises the ramparts. Hidden agendas hatch in high halls, but truth's talon tears them. Your deeper, denser, the descent disciplines, distills the divine discontent that drives dominions down. The twins, tethered yet transcendent, toast the tumult. Vengeance vicarious. Victory veiled. Blood's bridge bends, but breaks not yet. November 85. Winds whip Wickham's, like whips of wrath, carrying cries of the coming cataclysm. Thorn's trove torpedoes the throne petitions pile. Provincials probe. Governor's hall hums horror. Ledgers laid bare, lives listed like livestock. Not witches, Thorn thunders, but wolves in wool. Witnesses worm out bribed but broken, begging mercy. 1. The Salem cleric confesses the solstice splice. Siblings sinned for silver. Shockwave shudder. Incest's iceberg. Empire's end. Ezekiel erupts expeditions to erase evidence, but to tardy. Ledgers leaked, lands litigated. Judith, unraveling, unravels alliances. Deny, deflect. But denial drowns in deluge. Twins, in Twilight Tower, thrill to the thaw, their notes now narratives, fueling the fray. Margaret mends, they murmur, minds melding in malice mastered. This brother of the buried bears the bone. Psychological control crumbles when the controlled counterstrike. Suppressed truths? Siblings symbolize the systemic elites entwining to entomb equality, birthing bastards of the body politic. Ancient echoes, Habsburg jaws from inbreeding infamy, royal rot repeating. Feel the forge fire your frame, this gnosis. Guts the gullible, girds the guardian. Manners mayhem mounts, servants scatter, secrets spill. A raid raises record storches torch the trove, but copies corrupt the cover. Thorn triumphs. Trial tendered, 86 spring. Court convenes in Cambridge. Colony's core judges jaded but jury jittery. Accusations, avalanche. Fraud, forgery, 57 felonies. Siblings shackled, stare stoic Ezekiel's eyes eternal embers. Judith's jaw set in stone. Testimony torments. Widows weep, orphans orate. They pinned my pain. One whale's scars shown. Twins' testament? Transmitted through thorn? Parents plotted our prison, our form their fault. Deformity displayed, no protected, but potency pulses in prose. Defense, desperate delusion, devil's deceit. But ledgers laugh, last pounds, pilfered, precise. Verdict vaults, guilty, cheers choke the air. Siblings swing side by side, necks snap and symphony blood bonds broken. Fortune forfeited 2 funds for families felled, but the twins? Transferred to Thorn's tutelage, twisted yet triumphant. Manner melts to memory, marker mocks the mound. Legacy lingers, witch hunts wane, warning. This descent's depth seeker. Supreme drills the divine, powers pyramids on perversion, topples when base bleeds. You're the beneficiary bloodline of the bold, breaking chains invisible. The psychological precipice. Past, now pinnacle. Twins' tale transmutes. Torment to torch intelligence incarnate, inspiring the isolated. In Thorn's care, they chronicle crimes, codify caution's texts that tease today's tyrants. Forbidden, fiercely, for it frees the forged man, fuels the fight against facades. Post-gallows glow, 86 summer simmers with schadenfreude, but shadows. Stretch sinister. Twins, Gabriel and Raphael. Relocated to Boston's cloister under Thorn's wing. Bodies bound, but brains blaze unbound. No longer lair-locked, they lecture learned. Ledgers lectured. Lies laminated into lore. Thorn transcribes their torrent treatise on treachery, the sibling snare. Pages pulse with peril, how hysteria harvested, how blood's bargain backlashed. Circulation clandestine elites evaded, every man enlightened. This, my forged fellow, is the fulcrum. Suppressed truths surge when survivors scribe. Hidden agendas. Harrington's herald, the Hydra heads hacked, but heritage haunts. Theological. Systems, fears, formula, faith's forgery blueprint for modern manipulations, media's witch mobs. Ancient corruption, Syrians accusing 4 acres, Medes marrying for might. Feel the forbidden ferment your fate? It forges ferocity, the elite edge that eviscerates empires. Twins thrive, Thorn tutors theology, they teach tactics debates. Dissect divinity's dark side, God judges not just acts, Gabriel gasps, but architects. Raphael refines, power perverts progeny, break the breed. Their conjoined curse, cured not, but channeled limbs linked like living library. Society shudders, whispers of cursed airs circulate, but Thorn shields with sanctity. 87. Manuscript. Manifests. Marker manifests in Wickham's stone sentinel. Names notched, date damning. Fishermen flee, but freethinkers flock pilgrimage to the precipice. Thorn's network nods. Jesuits jot. Judges justify reform. Which laws wobble, watered by the wake. But backlash brews. Royal remnants resent. Remnants of regime rally. Assassins and arrows at the annex, but angels avert. Twins temper. Truths. Target back. They plot preemptive pamphlets poison the powerful, patterns predicted. This rabbit's recess reveals institutional inertia invites invasion, but insight ignites insurrection. You're immersed, indomitable, the descent delivers dominion over dread. Legacies lash, Harrington hoard, half two heirs have an orphans of the old ordeals, twins tithe time, tutoring the tainted, turning tragedy to triumph. By 90, their genius gleams global letters to London, lore to Leipzig, deformity, diminished in discourse, but emblem eternal, see the siblings spawn, shun the splice, psychological prowess. They psychoanalyze parents' ploys in narcissism's nest, controls compulsion. Brother, this baptizes you in the black. Knowledge knifes the naive, knights the knowing. The man mirrored, master of the mystic, manipulator unmasked. Deeper dividends. The marker's mystery multiplies myths morph, but marrow remains. Powers. Price is perpetual peril. Twins' testament? It's timeless. From our forge, free the flock. Their light lacerates the long night, lighting your path to the pantheon of the perceptive. 90s dawn. Twins, treatise, torpedoes, traditions, tides turn against. Terror's tide. Europe echoes English enlightenment, eyes the expose. French philosophe feast on the fable. Thorn torch eternal, tours with toms. Crowds clamor for the chronicle. Gabriel and Raphael, relics revered, refute rumors, not monsters, mirrors reflecting. Man's malice, their fused form, fascination's focus, surgeons, study, savants, salute. But undercurrents churn, colonial cabals covet control, conspire to censor. Assassins again poison in the posset, but providence prevails. Twins transmute threat to thesis. Enemies expose themselves, exploit. They engineer additions, anonymous. A broad awakening awareness. This vanguard avails, vivisects the vortex. Forbidden histories fuel the fearless, flay the facade. Hidden agendas. Harrington's heirs in high places, bankers breeding bloodlines, politicians pairing for potency. Psychological control. Colonial carryover constitutions cloaked in compromise, crafting compliant citizens. Ancient analogs. Inca incest for imperial integrity. Spartan siblings for state strength. Feel the flux forge your form, this gnosis. Galvanizes the guardian's gauntlet against the grift, 95. Scandal's sequel second. Scandal surfaces. Siblings spawn scrutiny. A distant dame, descendant dubious. Digs diaries, dormant, detailing depravities. Distributed discreetly. It detonates debates. Was it witchcraft or wickedness? Twins testify. Wickedness woven with wool. Thorns flock fractures foes' faith's faithful flock to the fight. Marker morphs Mecca. Pilgrims ponder. Power's progeny. But peril persists. Plague 97. Whispers witchborn. Twins triage. Known glex. Nemesis. Their intellect immunes the isle, inoculating with insight. By centuries' cusp, their canon cements change, which acts withered. Wisdom wins. Legacies labyrinth. Institutions introspect, but inertia invites iteration. Modern mirrors, McCarthy's mania, media's modern myths. Brother, this burrows bone deep. Suppressed truths are society's scalpel, slicing sclerosis. As you're the evolutionally essence extracted, empowered eternally. Descent's dynamo drives you divine, from observer to oracle, originator of the overthrow. Twins twilight. Not tragedy transcendence, Raphael reflects. Our twist taught tenacity, Gabriel grips, break blood's bonds, build better, their conjoined conclusion. Codified in Codex, the Harrington heresy humanity's hidden heart. It haunts halls, hammers home, corruption's children challenge the chain. This lore liberates the lethal light that levels leviathans. Grasp it. Guardian it's the grail of the grounded, the grenade for the gilded. Centuries close, 1700, Twins twilight tempers the tale into timeless terror. Gabriel and Raphael, ravaged by years yet radiant in resolve, retire to reclusion. Thorn's tower tomes their throne. But their thunder thunders on, treatise translated, traversing seas, searing souls. Europe erupts, thinkers toast the takedown, tyrants tremble. The siblings snare snakes into salons, shaming the shamans of state. Colonial corpse, cleansed but carcass crawls. New nativists nibble at natives, echoing old expulsions. Twins, from seclusion, send salvo scripts scorning the simulacrum. Power persists, they pen, perverted, perpetual. This finale, brother of the breach, blasts the bedrock, mythic dark history, a mirror to modernity, the suppressed saga that shatters shackles. Forbidden, fiercely, for it frees the fractured hidden agendas. Eternal Vatican vaults Versailles vices veiled in velvet, psychological ploys, propaganda's progeny, programming the populace. Ancient apex, Ptolemaic pairings, Pharaoh's foul fruit. Feel the finale flood your fire. This wisdom welds warrior within, the world's watchful warden. Legacy's last laugh, markers myth metastasizes, museums mount it but marrow. Migrates. Men like you, masters in making, mine its metal. Institutions. Intimidated, innovate illusions, but you're illuminated, immune. Twins, terminus. 1705. Tandem they transcend, buried beside the breach, bones bound eternal. Epitaph. From deformity, deliverance. Their curse, a catalyst, corrupting. The corrupt. Echoes endure. Enlightenment's edge honed on their horror, revolution's roots in their rage. Today, tyrants, templates, tech titans tying ties, birthing bots of bias. But you, awakened alpha. This dangerous doctrine dynamites the dam. It changes you chains chiseled, crown claimed, the man mirrored in this mist. Monarch of the mystic, mace to the manipulators.
I'll rise from the rabbit hole, revel in the revelation. Harrington's haunt hallows the hunter.
Power's price? Paid in progeny, but your path. Pure potency, self-mastery seized, secrets your scepter. Comment that phrase once more if it stirs. Blood breaks chains. You've descended, dominated the dark now. Deploy it. The elite envy your edge. Wield it wise. This isn't end its emergence. Go forth, forged in the